We heard you guys the whole time. It was great. Okay, so my name's Tanya Bowman DeMarco. I am the lead for this project. With me, I have Lisa Caricato and Pam Lefebvre. Lisa is our mental health educator, and Pam is our director of clinical supports. And Denise Nedelec is the other member of our team. Unfortunately, she could not make it here today, so she's not with us, but it's just myself that will be presenting the project here. Next slide, please. So the problem that we found, or that we were kind of directed to find, was that we would like to improve our clients' experience. So between programs at CMHA Sault Ste. Marie, there are multiple goal plans being used. They're used inconsistently and they're documented inconsistently. There has also been no formalized process for training on any specific type of goal plan to use, which causes confusion and at times conflict between staff who have clients that are involved in more than one program at CMHA Sault Ste. Marie. So just as a background, I think we have 7 or 8 programs here, and a lot of clients are involved with 2, 3, 4, several programs. What we decided to do is work on some change ideas to come up with a formalized process for training staff on goal planning, using goal plans that are functionally shared between programs at CMHA and goal plans that each client can work on with their workers at multiple programs to allow for a smoother, less disjointed experience here. Right now, we are still at the part of our project where we will be developing change ideas. So we're a little bit behind for everything here. Can we go to the next slide, please? So our problem statement, at present, clients of housing, so we decided to go with the 2 programs that we had most access to, basically. So the clients of the housing and clubhouse programs of CMHA Sault Ste. Marie are not consistently receiving comprehensive goal plans in a consistent format shared between our multiple programs here. This was evident as 11.84% of clients in the clubhouse have goal plans. 80% of clients in the housing program have goal plans. There are 3 to 4 different goal planning tools being used, and documentation on the goal plans vary largely between these 2 programs. There are also no shared goal plans being used. So staff between the 2 programs are not aware of other goals in place for the shared clients. Our aim statement is by March 31st, 2019, 100% of shared clients between the clubhouse and housing programs of CMHA Sault Ste. Marie will have actively participated in the creation of shared goal plans that are accessible to all staff of CMHA who serve that client. That sounds like a big and scary number, but there's actually not that many people that are in both programs. So this is definitely attainable. Next slide, please. So this is not as pretty as the last one. The first diagnostic tool that we used was the fishbone, and as you guys found in the previous one too, it really gave us a good idea of how the staff felt about our problem statement, but we didn't really get a good idea. There was no input from clients. So what was clear from the fishbone was that more consistent and concise training was required in terms of goal planning tools, from what tool to use to how often to follow up to a comfort level using the tool. Like I said, we did not capture any supportive evidence, so we decided to also use experience-based co-design to get some feedback from the clients and their perspective and experiences. So we developed a short survey. We were able to talk to 8 clients that have involvement in multiple programs at CMHA, and most of the results of the survey were very positive. They all had very lovely things to say about us, and it was really, really nice to hear. And what surprised us was that they didn't seem to be bothered by the fact that they had multiple goals in multiple programs. And they also felt very validated explaining their stories to each worker that they worked with through the programs at CMHA. We didn't expect that to be the case just because, well, I know I would be annoyed if I had to explain my story over and over again to people, so I figured they'd feel the same way, but they actually didn't. So it was very interesting from their point of view that it was quite all right with them to have all these different people involved and telling their stories again and setting up different goals with different programs. They also felt that it was validating because as they told their stories, they could see any progress they'd made through the various programs. We decided to go ahead with the results from the fishbone to do the 5 whys because we know as staff that they could have a more consistent and smoother client experience here if we could focus on, you know, one single goal planning tool that we all use in every program. So when we did the 5 whys on the fishbone, it pointed again to lack of consistent training, and most of the issues were around time and financial constraints, And the Pareto chart also showed the same thing. So next slide, please. So the root causes that we were able to look at from the Pareto chart are as listed here. So mostly revolving around training, software, access to clients' goals from different programs, inconsistent follow-up, information about clients' goals not available, again, different tools, lack of communication amongst programs. That's really somewhere where I was hoping that we would kind of take this to, maybe a communication tool, but we haven't quite gotten there yet, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Inconsistent, conflicting goals and different goals from different programs. Also some things about staff performance reviews not being done that would just not encourage any kind of consistency or follow-up. And not enough orientation for new staff. Next slide, please. So we had to skip a couple here because we haven't got to our change ideas yet. So our key overall challenges, for sure the first one I think would be time. The time of year that everybody was doing their projects was in the summer, and we have a very small staff here at Sault Ste. Marie CMHA. I believe there's maybe like 42 of us, and there's 4 of us on the team. So throughout the summer, it was really difficult to have all of us together for each meeting. Usually there would be 2 or 3 of us there. The second challenge was morale. Morale has been down for the past several years here at CMHA Sault Ste. Marie, which made it difficult to promote positivity and change. So it was very hard to encourage people to participate. Team composition, I think we can all agree that a member from the Clubhouse program would have been not much more effective, but it would have been helpful just because we did access a lot of data from the Clubhouse program, and we didn't actually have anybody working in the Clubhouse program to kind of give their perspective how they feel about, you know, what is going on with their clients. Physical location, we are in separate physical locations here in Sault Ste. Marie. Lisa is basically, she's like works all over the city. She goes to various schools, and she's in her office here in the building maybe once a week, I think. Pam is here in the downtown location, and I'm uptown in the housing location. So it was challenging because we weren't actually, you don't run into each other, you know, on a regular basis and just kind of touch base and say, oh, hey, you know, I was thinking about this. So that kind of stuff wasn't happening, and that was really challenging. And technology was a huge challenge. Myself especially, I am not a tech-savvy person, as I just showed everybody at the beginning here. But we're getting there. I think I should have focused more in the beginning on the steps that were needed to take to get to this point. But I think we're finally getting comfortable with that. Okay, next slide, please. What were or are you most excited about? So I found collecting the data to be exciting, and Laura has asked me to present some of the data that we found. So I brought some with us. I don't have it on a slide, unfortunately. I did let you know about the percentages of people involved. What I wanted to talk about was I can't even read that. Oh. Sorry, guys. Oh, basically, actually, what I wanted to talk about in regards to the data was that the data is actually really hard to access because we don't have a consistent tool, and we don't have a consistent direction as to when it should be documented, as with goal planning, right? So it's been very difficult to gather any hard data. We did gather some anecdotal data from the clients, and we got some really big numbers from CRMS in terms of, a big range of numbers in terms of people that had goal plans, people that didn't have goal plans, people that had follow-up, people that didn't. And it was really, we were not able to narrow down a lot of those numbers as much as I would have liked to, just because of the inconsistent documentation that was occurring. So data was really hard to access, but the experience-based co-design was the best way for us to gather the data that we did collect, just because it was directly from the clients, and we didn't have to go and try to search it out on a computer in a database that maybe didn't, it wasn't even there. So that was basically what I wanted to speak to the data about. It was fun to collect the data because you were talking directly to the clients and getting their perspective on how things were, how they were experiencing being a client here at CMHA. I'm excited to start developing change ideas. Looking forward to that very much. The factors enabling progress and pace, I would say support from our executive director, the team's willingness to learn, and the overall goal of bettering our clients' experiences at CMHA. Also, I have to say that Laura and Anna have been amazing at coaching us, and really we could not have gotten this far without you guys, as much as it seems like we may be a little behind, but we're still very, very grateful for all that you've done for us. Next slide, please. Oh, actually, I just wanted to speak. Sorry, can we go back to that slide? One more thing I wanted to say is that we are now starting an accreditation process at CMHA, which I think is also going to help enable quality improvement, obviously, and keep us moving in that direction. Okay, sorry. Lessons learned. What would you do differently next time? So, I mean, just because of the size of our team, I would say starting the project at a different time of year, just because of the fact that we all had summer holidays. Allowing more members on the team. I don't know that 4 people is enough. I feel like maybe 6 would have been better. And definitely allow time to learn the technological side of things beforehand. So for me, that was a key point. I think that the impact on our organization is that it's allowing the staff that's not on the team to see that CMHA Sault Ste. Marie is trying to make positive changes. We are working really hard at quality improvement, and we're hoping to move forward with this and continue doing these kinds of projects. And also allowing the clients of CMHA to see that we are trying to make positive changes for their experience as well. And lastly, it provided a opportunity for staff to have their voices heard. And I felt like that was really important back in, I think it was in March when we did the fishbone. And we had a really good response from staff for that fishbone, and I think it really had everybody kind of felt better about things. That's it. Thank you so much. No, I have one more slide. I'm a liar. So our next steps are actively working on some change ideas, and we would like to do some PDSA cycles. And project. Oh yes, okay. Yes, like I said earlier, I think that we as an organization and the staff here has seen that we are committed to making positive changes for our clients and for our staff. We have shared some of our learning already through discussing our findings with the staff and also with our clients when we've done the experience-based co-design. We've been able to give some feedback already to them so they can see that we're taking this seriously, and we're hopeful that as quality improvement continues in the mental health field, that we will be able to do these types of projects with varying staff members involved. And now I am done.
Thank you so much for that. That's some great work there. And again, I think that summer has been a challenge for a lot of groups. So I appreciate your honesty around that. It's not always easy to get the meetings planned and or to hear from clients at the same time. So I'm just trying to get